The podcast you're about to listen to may contain objectionable language, adult and/or immature content, mentions of Jesus Christ, and unironic readings of holy Christian scriptures. If any of this is likely to offend you in a manner that you find less than enjoyable, maybe don't listen.
Hi, I'm Pastor Bob Schaefer.
And I'm Pastor Eric Damon. Thanks for joining us.
Welcome to CPTB, which doesn't stand for Celebrity Plumbers Talk Bidets.
Oh, that one we're doing, though. Once you can pronounce it, like, straight through, we're doing Celebrity Plumbers Talk Bidets.
Absolutely. It is one of my bucket list life ambitions to have a bidet.
Okay. Well, since that's not what we're doing, what are we doing?
Cassie was raising her hand.
I have one you can use.
Oh.
Yes, please.
You might have to take this out.
All right.
Have you tried cerebral palsy, tuberculosis?
Ah, there we go.
No? Okay, everyone.
We have not tried cerebral palsy.
He's writing it down.
I thought you were
offering. I thought you had a bidet and you were offering to come back and use the bidet.
I am 100% with you.
I was like, well, you're so fancy, continental then, but that's really weird.
Also, I
Cassie's
have
like,
a bidet.
mate.
Do you want to come over and just use the bidet?
I just wanted to do. I'm sorry. They're never gonna have me back.
And I was taking it at you have a bidet that you were offering for Bob to use.
Like, that's really generous, but a little uncomfortable.
But we are not doing a bidet-related podcast. What are we doing, Bob?
We're doing comedians with pastors talking Bible, and that is the very thing that it sounds like every single week. We've got a couple of comedians fresh from the Pittsburgh scene here with us today to talk about a reading from the Bible.
And we've already heard from one of the comics, really both of you we've heard, but how do we pick our Bible reading? Do we just throw a dart at the Bible and see how far it will stick through?
Do you have any idea how sacrilegious that would be?
Like, not really at all. It's just a book.
Oh, all right. Well, I'm going to let you have the Bible dart game fundraiser at your next church picnic, and you tell me how that goes.
I think if you do it as a fundraiser, it like goes into appropriate ways to dispose of a Bible. You let everybody raise money for the new Bibles by throwing darts at the old Bibles.
All right. Like I said, you let me know how that goes.
How do we pick the passage we're going to talk about?
Due to a distinct lack of dart affordability due to tariffs, we tend to refer to the Revised Common Lectionary, which is a cycle of readings for every single Sunday in the church year. It's what you're going to be preaching from. Me, not so much this week because I'm on vacation. I don't care. I'm just going to read this thing and let you guys talk, and I'm going to throw as many bombs into the mix as I can. But it is a way for us to be in conversation with churches and pastors all around the world who will be looking at the same reading.
And so, in other words, the two comics we've already heard from have been brought on without any Bible training or real background to do our job for us.
Pity them.
And it's still something we're calling a good idea.
Well, yeah, that's because it works out really well for us.
It is a good idea.
No word on what the comics have gotten out of it.
It is a good idea. Well, welcome, bidet offering Cassie. Thanks for being.
I do not have a bidet.
Oh, you did.
I just wanted to.
You did have the weekly gag though for us that knowing Bob will end up used at some point on this show.
Great.
Or maybe I was just doing the Jon Stewart pretend to write the thing down and
just give me your email and I'll send you more as I think of them.
That's right. We are cptbpod@gmail right there.
Got it.
Excellent. We'll look for that.
That's Cassi Bruno, and we have back with us also Harriet Riley.
Hello.
Thanks for coming back.
Well, I was thinking, what do we get out of it? It's like all comedians, like, oh, it's free, but you're doing it for exposure.
Don't put us in the I would never make that offer.
That's the worst thing you can say to someone.
You'll get exposure
to lurgy. Pink eye.
I'm good. No, I did not offer that as
That's because
compensation.
we don't have that.
We don't have exposure.
Comedians are always down to, increase our demographic,
Yep.
target audience, especially to, churchgoers.
All right, so all 30 of you out there who are listening, you got to make sure that you pay attention to these two because that's why they're here.
Hit like and subscribe and validate us, please.
Well played. Yes, I forget to say that.
So last time you were both on, I got into a little of your church backgrounds. Both of you described it as loose. I don't know what to unpack. We've got a loose Catholic and a loose Church of England.
Would you like to rephrase that?
I'm just quoting them. Bob.
We both said it. It's not a lie.
That was a very intentionally phrased thing on your part, I think.
And yeah, it was. But
Eric, that was sus.
Did you say sus?
I did say sus.
Don't say sus.
It was sus.
All right, but don't say it that way.
Cringe.
Yeah, our guests are so skibbity that you just
Gotta reach out to the youths.
My teenage child has problems with the skibbity speaking youth. That's
It's like you've got strong youth pastor vibes going on right now. I don't think even the youth speak like that anymore.
I told you I have no interest in this episode going well at all because I don't have to preach on this. So I am just here to be a chaos gremlin.
but
Yeah.
so we've got our loose Catholic and loose Church of England. But really, unlike a lot of guests that we have on, I'm not familiar with either of your backgrounds in performing comedy either. Harriet, you came on to one show that I put together, and Cassie, you kind of showed up at Corner Cafe and intimidated me. That's my knowledge of you're an intimidating person.
I am?
Yeah,
I was a little intimidated by you the first time I met you. I was like, I'm not cool enough to be friends with Cassie. Cassie's gonna hate me.
You have that brand of sarcasm that makes like people like myself feel like she's gonna think terribly of me. So I'm just gonna sit in the corner. Yeah.
That's good to know. I didn't know
you can
that.
weaponize that.
I could.
Yeah.
I'll think about it.
But I mean,
Now I know you're really lovely and not intimidating at all, and I feel like I might have broken your heart a little bit saying that.
Don't tell him
that.
that.
don't tell me that.
She doesn't have a heart. You can't break her.
Vicious. But the question I want to know is, I don't know how long either of you have been doing comedy, how you started,
Well, I just want to go back and say that thank you for the compliment. I think I'm deeply insecure, so I just assume that I'm making everyone uncomfortable anyway. But at least if it's intimidating, then that kind of makes me seem a little cool.
It was an intimidating in a you're like cooler than me way.
Way cooler than me.
You're mean.
I'll take. I just think. I think that you guys are both like really great and cool, and I don't think that I'm even.
I did not mean to make my guest feel this awkward.
No.
I've been mean, Bob.
No, I just think that it's just.
So far, you've called them loose and intimidating.
I'm a terrible person.
I just want to say that I don't think I am qualified to be sitting next to you. Or probably I'm definitely not qualified for this podcast.
It's fascinating that you think that we are.
Well, you're literally pastors.
And
that's one half of the equation, I think, is what she's saying.
Just saying. I got held back at CCD. So anyway, comedy. I started doing comedy in Pittsburgh when I was like, it was on my 21st birthday. I did an open mic at the Beer Hive in the strip
where
district.
Is the beer?
It's not there anymore, but it was there 10 years ago when I started doing comedy.
So did you intentionally choose your 21st birthday for your debut?
No, I was in an improv class, and I went out with some people from the improv class, and I was friends with Amanda Averill, and she signed me up for the mic. Like, she was already doing stand-up. She was like, you should do it. And I was like, okay. And I think I told like a story about accidentally like choking my friend's baby or something, and people laughed at it.
And that baby has been intimidated ever since.
I want to take back all you.
You're not going to live that down.
No, it was.
So you had your debut there, and you said it was funny? People laughed.
Yeah, people liked it, and then I continued to do comedy on and off for the next 10 years.
Nice.
Just like my relationship with religion, it's on and off.
It's complicated.
Yes.
And
I'm waiting to see what you will say next, Eric.
Looking expectantly at
I'm
me.
looking at you saying
I was always that annoying person that wanted to be funny and was always looking for an audience. Especially, I'm an only child of older parents, so I was always like on. It's interesting. I looked at Facebook memories yesterday, and 9 years ago yesterday, it was my last day of work in the UK. And I was about to move to Pittsburgh with the guy I was married to at the time. And I was freaking out. And I made a bet with my therapist which I'm pretty sure is against a lot of therapists' ethics codes, but that I was going to do improv, and improv will get you. And I started doing improv, and that's more of a team sport. And my ego got the better of me, and I went and did a stand-up class. And I was like, oh, the only child in me was like, yes, I don't have to play with other people.
get rid of those people.
Yeah, just be me.
This would be so much better if they weren't here.
Yeah, but so much worse for my mental health. This isn't fixing anything. It's making the problems worse. But yeah, I did a stand-up class. I wrote some material, and yeah, I got the bug. I've been doing it for about 7 years. I mean, pandemic kind of weirds it. But yeah, 7 years of telling people I'm funny and then trying to back that up with some jokes. So yeah, all because I made a bet with a therapist.
Did you collect on your winnings from the bet with the therapist?
I never no, but I was having a bit of a crisis, and I asked her if she was still taking patients, and could we do and she was like, no. I think it was like,
oh, she abandoned you.
She did.
Wow.
That's talk about issues.
That lack of accountability there is just really appalling.
So yeah, that's my story to stand-up comedy.
So both of you with some improv and classes that you took, and then you find yourselves on the stages flying solo.
Flying solo.
Yeah. Sometimes I miss improv because it's one of the few times where I found myself actually able to be mindful, because you're not supposed to pre-plan the scene. You're supposed to just go in with no expectations and take what's the gift that is offered. Sometimes it's really not a gift. Sometimes it's someone just trying to fuck you over, and you're like, well, amazing, I have to deal with this now. I have to yes and, because you're not supposed to say no. You can redirect, but you're not supposed to deny someone's reality, which is interesting. So I think improv is more like, I don't have to. Yeah, it was when it was going well, I was really truly mindful and in the moment. But stand-up comedy scratches my ego a lot more.
I have never done improv. I have done pastoral care for dementia patients.
Same.
Which is
it's a really
almost identical.
You use a lot of those skills when you're working with. I took care of my grandmother who had Alzheimer's, and I also did a lot. I've worked a lot with young children, and you use a lot of those skills when you're working with those groups of people.
Yeah, it's direct skill. My dad had Parkinson's and Lewy bodies dementia, and my aunt had Alzheimer's, and it's in those moments it's a gift to just be able to go, okay, this is where we are.
Yeah,
this is the
just be in the moment.
I'm not going to deny you. I'm just going to accept and work with this. It's a really good skill.
Honestly, I feel like just about everything you said about improv applies directly to a certain podcast that I know. Including these. Somebody is just kind of out to fuck you over.
Is that
crap, poop, I don't have one right now. Sorry.
You got the C and the P.
Oh, I've got one, but I'm not going to say it.
Come on.
No.
You can't have
all right,
Cassie
if
putting herself out there courageously like
crap,
that.
poop, titties, and balls.
Okay.
There we
Thank
go.
you, improv.
There we go. Yes,
We did
and.
it. Should we start an improv team, you guys?
I think that's kind of like starting a cult. You're not supposed to say, "Can we start one?" You just
Oh, okay.
get everybody to show up.
It is a cult.
Yeah.
Should we start a cult?
Offer pizza. Can we?
Cult would be more lucrative, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll join your cult.
Yes.
But so we are only one half a comedy podcast. The other half is Bible related and
Bible adjacent.
so each episode we do describe how you and I approach the scriptures.
Yeah, we are both of us, surprisingly enough, pastors in the Evangelical Lutheran Church in America. And our church confesses, as do we, that the Bible is the inspired word of God and the authoritative source and norm of our proclamation and our teaching. So that is just a way of saying that we respect the Bible. We believe it's true, but not necessarily literal in every case. And it points us to Jesus, not the other way around. So Jesus is the main show.
And we don't bring either of you on in attempts to convince you of that or hold you to our understanding of Scripture as
Except
divinely
for that
inspired.
statement of faith that we made you sign just before we began.
Other than that, I mean, outside of that is what I was meaning.
Our attorneys will be in touch.
And the forced baptism we did when you can. Outside of that, we don't
Forced
hold
baptisms are the most fun.
They're the most effective, I hear.
I had a great time.
I enjoyed
It's
my
been
attempt
hot.
to drowning.
But outside all of that, we don't expect you to convert or hold to our understandings of Scripture in either way. Bring our guests on because you made me laugh at some point. That the intimidating, you definitely made me laugh somewhere in between that or now.
Frightened laughing is sometimes the best laughing.
But since I did allude to the phrase of loose Catholic and loose unpack, I think I didn't dig into it in the last episode because I think I had an understanding of what you meant, but explain to me what that means because that's different than we were non-practicing Catholics or not. Like, what does it mean to be brought
loose?
up loosely in the Catholic Church?
My grandparents were Italian immigrants. Religion is very important to them. Not so important to my parents, but I think they were trying to, create some kind of tradition. So the first couple years of my life were very church heavy. And then my parents, my parents like to party. So I think after 5-6 years of parenting, they were like, that's enough. And they started doing their own thing. And I was like, well, why the fuck am I still going to church? It's early. You know what I mean?
I really hope that neither of my children say, my parents like to party. After like 5-6 years of parenting, they said, we're done.
I'm just being honest.
But so what I hear outside of that, though, is that it was the real religious church impetus in the family was from the grandparents. And
Yeah, like my nana, she sang in the choir at church, and she would go. I mean, up until she passed away, I would take her to church for like holidays and stuff. Whereas my parents, like, whatever they wanted to go, it's usually for like a funeral or I don't know, AA or something. Yeah. It's usually in a church.
Yeah, there's a lot of good churching that goes on in those AA meetings.
Yeah.
True.
That's.
I think for me, it was the default. Like my dad was caught by the end of national service, and then when you signed up, they said what religion? And he was like, and they just went, oh, Church of England. Like if you weren't aligned to anything, that's just kind of where you got lumped. And we would go, like, school would do they would do the big festivals, and our headmaster was a Methodist preacher, and occasionally he was great. He had a great like preaching voice, and so occasionally he would do stuff, and I was in Girl Guide, so we would go to church through that. And I was saying to Cassie, my dad was a frustrated actor, so I could be relied upon to read clearly and slowly. Because he would coach me. So I would often get honored with readings because they could hear me at the back because my dad would drill me. So it was kind of, a framework and something that we did, but we didn't go regularly.
But hearing you and it being slow enough are the two things that, if you got a kid that can do that in your church, you're getting called to read at least twice a month.
And my dad would be very rude about other people's kids that couldn't do it as well. He called it the "Can I have my piece of cake now" school of delivery. Like, just so rapid fire. Like, you're really willing to please, but everything is coming out. Blah, 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 blah. Can I have my piece of cake now? I'm done.
I didn't know that cake was a reward system for this. I feel like I should have been getting a lot of cake at the end of my sermons.
It's central to the Church of England. There's a brilliant bit by Eddie Susie Izzard. If you Google "cake or death," about the Church of England's reliance on cups of tea and pieces of cake.
Are they accepting Lutheran pastors at this time?
Come on over. The cake is fantastic, and the tea is just the right temperature.
We just offer really bad coffee that's been sitting in the giant coffee maker since like 3 hours before church started.
That's the good stuff.
Harriet, you were telling us in between episodes about a very important Episcopal encounter that you had.
I nearly forgot it again.
No, please don't.
Yeah, I had a real moment when I was about 6 or 7. My parents were architects. We would go and look at cathedrals, and we went to one cathedral, Hereford, I think. And the bishop there was kind of a celebrity at the time because he rode a motorbike. Yeah. And in the Church of England, that's like, whoa, he's crazy. He's like, he rides a motorbike to sermons. But it was also the point where women couldn't be ordained as vicars, and women did not preach in the Church of England. And I very confidently I got into, because I was a precocious child, marched over to the man in the purple dress and got chatting. And he, as disinterested adults do, he asked me what I wanted to do. I looked him dead in the eyes and said I wanted to be a bishop. Like you. He very, very speedily exited the conversation.
Which you can go a lot faster on the motorbike.
I was like, I'm going to be a bishop. And I don't know how earnest it was, but I'm living my moment. And I was very influenced. Like, I love The Vicar of Dibley and Dawn French. And I watched so much of that. So this is me getting to live my dream a tiny little bit. So thank you. Thank you.
You made it.
Yay, it's the big time. We could fold you a little paper hat if you'd like. I can pause the episode right now and
do it.
I can work on that as we talk.
Amazing.
Yes, you're welcome.
And our reading this week does not have women being anointed bishop in it.
Poor
but it
show.
does. But it does have Jesus pushing back at other traditions that he felt were upheld in ways that were not necessarily appropriate. That's my. If you can smell my trying to transition to.
Are you saying it kind of stank?
Yeah, sure, that's what I was saying.
All right. I think Eric is saying he'd like me to read the Bible to you right now. And we are looking at Sunday, August 24th. I'm in Minnesota as you are listening to this, but I'm sitting here recording. Oh, it's a great mystery. This is the 11th Sunday after Pentecost, and our gospel reading is from the Gospel of Luke, chapter 13. Now, Jesus was teaching in one of the synagogues on the Sabbath. And just then there appeared a woman with a spirit that had crippled her for 18 years. She was bent over and was quite unable to stand up straight. When Jesus saw her, he called her over and said, "Woman, you are set free from your ailment." When he laid his hands on her, immediately she stood up straight and began praising God. But the leader of the synagogue, indignant because Jesus had cured on the Sabbath, kept saying to the crowd, "There are 6 days on which work ought to be done. Come on those days and be cured, but not on the Sabbath day." But the Lord answered him and said, "You hypocrites! Does not each of you on the Sabbath untie his ox or his donkey from the manger and lead it away to give it water? And ought not this woman, a daughter of Abraham, whom Satan bound for 18 long years, be set free from this bondage on the Sabbath day?" When he said this, all his opponents were put to shame, and the entire crowd was rejoicing at all the wonderful things that he was doing.
So before we started this episode, Cassie, you said you were excited about this reading.
I think it's pretty clear Jesus was a great chiropractor.
Great. Jesus was like really good at healthcare, period.
Right.
I mean, people came to him with all kinds of ailments. There was
I
no
need him for my
copay.
posture. Satan's bounding me.
I can just hear this lesson, the creak as she straightens up.
Yeah. Do you imagine having these
long
mics back
time
then? The content they could make?
It's kind of like the Tin Woodman, as he's getting,
Yeah.
Do you think they, just like that, there was Jesus missed a part and he had to go back and get it? She's all like, right there.
Yeah.
Still hurts. Well, we've got the guy who was blind, and Jesus heals him. He's spitting in the mud and then smearing that on the guy's eyes. And he says, "Okay, what do you see now?" And he says, "I see people walking around, and they look kind of like trees." And Jesus is like, "Okay, we're going to work on that a little bit." Does a little bit more, and then he sees clearly. So I feel like the oil can moment is kind of a little bit of trial and error, kind of feeling his way out to get the healing right.
I'm always, just off of this reading onto the tree people reading, a guy who's blind since birth. How does he know the difference between what people and trees look like?
He was lying.
I think there's a little...
yeah.
The fact that he's been blind since birth, and Jesus, what do you see? He goes, "I see people, but they look like trees." How do you know what either one looks like?
What if he was just punking Jesus, and then Jesus goes and keeps working and ultimately messes this guy's LASIK prescription up, and now he's stuck with it for the rest of his life?
Or he could just see fine, and Jesus just had to give him a placebo and be like, "That's what people look like."
Or maybe he was on shrooms and people and trees look the same.
It's possible.
All of these are possibilities. The shrooms in the Middle East, I'm going to go with the lower.
Could we go with ergot poisoning?
Oh, wow. Hey, there's a callback.
As a Salem witch trial reference as well. Like maybe it's, fungus on the oats.
But are you aware that Eric dropped ergot poisoning on...
Of course I am, because I listen to every episode of the podcast.
That is eerie.
Only true nerds drop an ergot poisoning reference.
Oh, wow.
You have to...
CBTB heads over here.
That's right. Wow. So maybe as we think about merch for the third season, ergot poisoning somehow. Eric, I'm going to let you work on that.
Bumper sticker.
We'll just sell vials of it.
Makes the pod go down easier.
Put me down for 20.
Yep.
All right, so Mr. Vacation Guy.
Yeah.
What if you weren't on vacation? What would you say about it?
Man, are you going to make me actually work? So I mean, there is the graciousness to this woman here, right? And that Jesus is not reluctant to interact with her. He's not reluctant to touch her, to care for her. That there are taboos that may be at play here that Jesus just is disinterested in. It's not just the Sabbath regulation. I was going to say taboo, but it's more than a taboo. It is the law. And he's unconcerned with that, but he's also unconcerned with, is this proper? Is anything about this proper? What's improper is that she has suffered all these years, and we can do something about that. Why should we wait? The idea of a Jesus who just, he has zero F's to give about waiting to do the good thing.
I think it's funny that these people are so used to Jesus doing miracles that they're just like, come on, you're going to work today. And not just like amazed that he just magically healed someone.
Yeah. I've never thought about that. That
is a valid.
Like they're like, this is annoying at this point.
I mean,
it's
every
the Sabbath.
day with the
for
miracles.
them, yeah,
Every day,
for
what a
them
show
to
off.
refer to it as his work on the Sabbath, they definitely have seen him do this enough to consider it, labor.
It's work,
Right.
right?
Would they have opposed to him like turning water to wine at this point?
I don't know. I have no idea
Yeah,
if that constitutes work.
Yeah, I don't know apparently Jesus felt that it was ridiculous of them to call it all out anyway, but
I kind of feel like part of what's going on here, though, is that, Jesus is working, right? He's not just not working. He's not just learning. He's not just relaxing, resting, studying, worshiping. He's at work here. And I think that as much as we have in Scripture a God who rests on the seventh day and establishes that, I think it's wrong for us to imagine that God is not at work 7 days a week. That God takes a rest where God is just completely absent and inactive. I feel like Jesus is showing us that God is for us all the time, and that there isn't a rest that God takes from doing good.
I want to be a big old contrarian.
Please
Be
do.
like-
Please do. It's very
'cause,
British.
Like, because it is.
That's why you're here.
Is there not an element of can we not have one day where we rest? Because it's hard work. And sometimes like rest is necessary. Rest is restorative. Rest is essential. And a little bit it's like, just give us a day. We still have to. Yeah, I take my ox for a drink because it'll die if I don't. But really, not even the Sabbath. Jesus, come on.
And I would want to say that what I am talking about with Jesus is like a Jesus thing, not an us thing. Those bracelets that were the WWJD. What would Jesus do? I always felt like that was the wrong question, because Jesus would do an awful lot of things that he would not want us to do, like die on a cross. That's one of the things that Jesus would do.
Take a nap in a boat.
Take a nap in a boat. There are lots of those things. The question there is, what would Jesus have us do? And that's a different thing. Jesus might work on the Sabbath and work himself until he's exhausted. He also, though, would go off into the wilderness and say, I need a nap.
Take naps. I mean, the issue here isn't the I'm going to keep working. It's that they placed the regulation over the care of people. And this isn't the passage that says it, but in other places when he is accused of doing work on the Sabbath, he says the Sabbath was made for the Son of Man, not the Son of Man for the Sabbath. That once we start serving God's laws instead of God's laws showing us how to serve one another, we've got it backwards. But so there's definitely, Jesus needs rest too, and he takes it more than, Jesus has got to, people run around looking for him, and he just hides in the wilderness. Just like, I had enough of y'all.
You wouldn't you? It's like,
and then he shows up the next day, just like, all right, I'm back. And so he is definitely not above taking a breather when he needs it.
Yeah,
but
it's
here,
Jesus. He can set his own boundaries.
He's very good at boundary setting.
Yeah. Do you think he was? He could have just been like, "I'm literally Jesus." Like, you don't tell me about the Sabbath; I tell you.
That is absolutely going on here. But I think we should also point out that if you were to go to your local synagogue and talk to the rabbi, they might very well agree with Rabbi Jesus here and say that the synagogue leader is overly scrupulous about this. That the rabbis have all considered whether it's all right to do good, to heal on the Sabbath, and if somebody is ill, if emergency medicine needs to be done, that is absolutely something that is permissible. Maybe Jesus might be, stretching the line a little bit here if this isn't an emergency thing, but caring for somebody, healing somebody on the Sabbath is absolutely something that Jewish people are saying this is essential. This is part of the work that we are called to do, and it's part of the giftedness that God has given this healer. And so, of course, it's permissible on the Sabbath. So we ought to be careful not to read this leader here as
representative of the Jewish people.
Yes,
would be,
and that is something that Christians can be prone to doing.
I mean, I think
you're saying we have a problem with anti-Semitism
Could
creeping
be.
into our reading of Scripture.
Could be. We'd have to look at that shoe to see how well it fits.
You're scandalous.
I was going to say something that glosses. Moving on.
All right.
But something that cuts across faith and belief is that I feel like is touched on here is the difference between doing what is right and doing what is proper, or what is considered proper. Which is what is considered proper is I can't touch you, I can't work with you. It's the Sabbath, so I'm not going to do anything. Whereas actually taking the right action is to help someone in this circumstance, which is.
And he says, why not today? Because it obviously wasn't an emergency. This lady couldn't stand up straight for 18 years. She could have waited one more day. But was there something special about actually doing it on that day when he wasn't supposed to be working?
Maybe it is a sign of God's goodness that we celebrate on the Sabbath and the grace that he shows us that she is truly at rest after 18 years. I like that distinction, too, about the proper versus right, because I feel like a lot of times what we look for in Scripture is how to live proper lives, and that Jesus is largely unconcerned with propriety. He is very concerned with rightness, with doing what is just, with doing what is pleasing to God. And those things might be very opposite of the thing that is proper. And that's hard, right? Because that leads you into messiness that, at its messiest can look a lot like situational ethics, that the thing to do here might be exactly the opposite of the proper thing, and yet it might be the rightest thing you can do. That's hard. People don't like that.
Well, and people are going to end up talking about you behind your back like they did about Jesus.
Darn skippy they will.
If you're not doing what the culture says is proper, it doesn't matter if you're being a decent person. People are going to start to have things to say about it.
But also sometimes they celebrate you when you are doing the things that aren't proper. Oh my gosh, did I just put Jesus in the Trump bucket? I did. Look out for lightning here. But I mean, it's true that people do sometimes celebrate people. Well, I mean, this is true though with comedy too, right? I mean, a big part about being funny is breaking propriety in ways that catch people by surprise, and you get a laugh that way, and it can be a really good one. And people celebrate that. It can be a good thing. The crowd here rejoices at Jesus' improper answer. They celebrate him and for all the good that he is doing here at the end of the story, the wonderful things that he's doing.
Yeah, what do you guys make of that? Because I get caught up there that his opponents were put to shame, but the entire crowd rejoiced.
It feels like a bit of a quick turnaround to me.
Yeah, but
I'm not
like a roast.
sure.
I mean, were his opponents not part of the crowd?
Yeah, like suddenly everyone's like, yeah.
I like to imagine Jesus getting a slow clap here.
All right.
Okay.
Cool.
Go, Jesus.
Wonder Boy has done it again.
I got one slow clap in my life, and it was the most glorious thing. It was a real, actual teen movie slow clap kind of a thing. So now I have to tell the story.
Yeah.
This was at a youth gathering that was held in Wisconsin Dells, and they announced at breakfast that evening's celebration was going to be silly dress night. And so, dress in whatever ridiculous way you want. here are the only rules. The first rule is that you cannot use anything from your hotel room as part of your dress up. For obvious reasons, we'd like to come back here to this nice resort again next year. Second rule was no undergarments on the outside. Third rule was no dressing as a person of the opposite gender unless you are the senior pastor of your church. Is anyone here the senior pastor of your church? I was the only pastor of my church, but my picture was on the wall labeled as senior pastor. So I kind of raise my hand and they're like, okay, yep, you got to do that. I mean, they came over and talked to me at the table afterwards. I like, dude, you've gotta. So I went out to Goodwill and, I take these things seriously. I was not going to goof on this and go all camp.
If I'm going to dress in drag, darn it, I am doing it full.
I'm a classy guy, right? I got to find something. So
you went back and watched every season of RuPaul.
Like, I am going to honor this tradition.
Studied with notes.
It was kind of more Mrs. Doubtfire. Yeah. One of the things I learned about myself is that I can't wear dresses because I'm a different size up top than I am down bottom. So, I was looking for blouses and skirts. Found a cute little small pattern floral blouse that was really very flattering, I thought. And a nice, classy black skirt. Some sort of wedge heels that they didn't hurt my feet too bad. I don't have proper women's size feet, so I was squeezing those into there. And then once the Goodwill people kind of got over their shock at my browsing habits, they offered me complimentary clip-on pearls and to go with the necklace that I'd selected. Oh, and I had a cute little handbag too. It was a really great outfit.
Classy guy.
Yep. So showing up then that evening, you see where this is going. In the elevator, actually, there was the other reaction I got beyond the slow clap was the guy in the elevator said, "Hey, baby."
Oh.
Yeah, yep. But
do you have pictures of this?
Yes.
You're gonna have to link them somewhere.
Yes, they will be on the YouTube version of this. You can take a look at me and my outfit. But yes, as I walked in there, the directors of the event saw me and they clapped and the whole room applauded in a true slow clap, and I have never forgotten that.
It's incredible.
It was. Thank you.
I just want to congratulate you on your choice of a wedge heel because they're so much easier to walk in.
I couldn't believe.
Right? It just gives you that more balance, good work. And it elongates your leg as well. More than a heel, a wedge makes your legs look
I was very concerned about, the line
proportion
of my
and line. So
yes.
I think you're a natural.
Thank you. And I did dance in my heels and
what did you dance to?
I have no idea. And to be fair, I cannot dance.
Hopefully.
So at that point, the spectacle was more in me dancing than it was in the outfit I was dancing in. But yes. Dear listeners, aren't you glad that you tuned in for this pod episode?
So I am now tasked with working dressing up for that is a sermon illustration because you're on vacation, so I can't make you use it, and I have to use it.
I was standing up straight and tall in my heels, and Jesus said to me, "Woman, you are set free from your wardrobe."
He said, "I can tell you have no idea how to walk in heels. Take those off and go free.
Shake the glitter off your sandals." I
could have done a whole Willy Wonka thing where you pretend you can't walk and then you do a cartwheel or whatever.
No one wants me to do a cartwheel, least of all me.
In a skirt.
Well, if I girded up my loins first.
That's a callback. You got to gird your loins.
Before the cartwheel, definitely. It's very important.
All right, Eric, what you going to do?
I'm trying to think. Darn it! You have to. There's no time for thinking on a podcast. That's the problem.
It's like improv. You've just got a yes and.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the thing that I just gave you to yes and is really, really
No, everything is a gift.
Everything is a gift.
Everything is a gift. It's on the pressure is on you because you're not interpreting it as a gift because you're a bad improviser.
And sometimes the gift you're given can get people to lash out at you regardless of what you say. So
look, I'm the one who was talking about cross-dressing on a Bible podcast, so
Well,
I think you are in the clear.
No, my problem is if I make fun of the dressing too much, I've offended a large population. I mean, there is a very thin road that can be walked right now to find humor in Bob's funniness.
Which is why I walked that road in heels with dignity and class and not.
And you did that better than I would. So I am, yes. And let's move on.
So the part of Jesus Christ Superstar that this reminds me of is when he's healing the lepers. And it's like so overwhelming because they're all like, see my eyes, I can, you know, that part.
Yeah,
Am I allowed to sing
yeah.
on this?
Yes, please.
It used to scare me so much when I was a kid.
Yeah.
See my skin, I'm a mass of blood.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
And he's like,
Sing
stop,
it.
there's too many. And then they like overcrowd him. So, you know, boundaries.
Yeah. And there is a humanity of Jesus that's present in that scene. The idea that he could be overwhelmed because even though he is God incarnate, he is fully human. And of course, that is the focus of Jesus Christ Superstar, is the humanity of Christ. The idea that he needs his Sabbath in that moment.
Yeah.
And I mean, really, there's even outside of Jesus Christ Superstar, there's all kinds of examples of Jesus setting the boundaries and taking them when needed. He would have had here what's highlighted by his being called out for violating the Sabbath is he had a proper reason to say, I can't do this. And that's not the time. His boundaries are not established by, but that's my day off, or, but I don't do. His boundaries are established by really when he does need it. And he will go to the point of death when someone else needs it. So we're back to the pendulum swinging, that if we consistently try and pick up our cross and follow Jesus to the point that we forget that Jesus loves us, we've missed part of the point. If we are unwilling to help others because, well, I have to look after myself. I mean, a lot of times the popularity of the phrase self-care, I find, gets used in the way this synagogue leader would have used it, that I'm using self-care as an excuse to not care for anybody else. But self-care became popular because we all know people who do really just grind themselves until there's nothing left. And those people need to hear that part too. And so in this passage, is the good news that it seems like we're not getting his boundaries. This passage that we're tasked to reach, we can remind the folks in the pews that Jesus does establish boundaries at other places. But this one is really, he has all the reasons in the world to say, but we can't work today. And yet this woman comes forward and he does the thing.
Yeah, and the context for this happening, I think, is really easy to overlook because it's just that first verse there that we almost just kind of gloss over as we're getting into it. It's the establishing shot. But listen to what it actually is. Now, Jesus was teaching in one of the synagogues on the Sabbath. He's there. He's teaching. He's not just even attending, but he is actively in the process of teaching them.
Which somehow is not regarded as work by the synagogue leader.
I was about to say, hang on, is that not, particularly for Jesus or a synagogue leader, that's work, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
you guys.
Well, so we only work the one day a week.
There is that problem, but there is Sunday doesn't count as our Sabbath. So when you take on this vocation, you pick another day to declare as your Sabbath, because we do work on Sunday.
But aside from the question of work, I'm interested that in the relative value Jesus assigns to his work of teaching and his care for this woman in this moment, that he was perfectly willing to interrupt whatever it was he was saying and say, okay, caring for this woman matters more right now than the thing that was about to come out of my mouth. And there will be time for me to unpause and we'll continue with the lesson. But right now, she's right there, and I am here for her. And I think that is something that the church often gathers around to hear Jesus teaching, and we lose the fact that he is about the care and the healing and the loving of the neighbor, and that, at least in this, it seems like that is the thing that he actually is. He is more a healer than he is a teacher. That is a higher priority for him, at least in this moment.
Well, and I mean, you've heard me speak enough about my Eucharistic piety that I think as much as I am a full convert to Lutheran theology, one of the things that I miss from my Roman Church upbringing is the fact that it wasn't all made cerebral. The sermon, the homily, was not the center of worship. What happened behind the table was, and I think there is a bit of us Lutherans are the teaching was the important part. Jesus, you should have kept doing that. Don't do the mystical miracle thing. We want to hear something that we can take, learn, and then know that we're better.
I nearly had a primary school moment. I want to put my hand up and go, oh, sir, is it that actions speak louder than words?
Yes.
And
Good job.
Gold star.
when we come out with our merch, could we do a CPTB cookbook? Because I really want to have your recipe for Eucharistic piety.
Okay. That's... Yeah, it's
how many hosts do you need for the crust?
Piety. you don't use the wafers when you're making piety. Well, I think we are approaching time.
That's Eric's way of saying he has no further and.
I think we've gotten somewhere with that too. None of you seem to share my
I feel like we've let you down on this one. It's like,
no,
wow.
I actually you guys don't. It's I bring up my Eucharistic piety. Not in pie form, but an actual piety, often with Bob. So anytime that our discussion finds a way that I can be pointing towards the Eucharist in sermon, I'm actually kind of excited. There is a period of time in the church year, the bread monologues, and you just, how many weeks is that? I always forget.
It's 30 or 40.
Yeah, it's not 30 or 40 weeks. It's like, but there's like a month or two of nothing but bread, and I am like the one pastor who doesn't get upset about. I'm like, woohoo! We get to talk about communion again.
I always love talking about communion because I was always starving in church. That's like the one memory. I'm like, it's early. I'm so hungry.
And you're raised Roman Catholic. You got that little thin wafer that like sticks to your roof of your mouth.
I was desperate. I would be like, yes, amen, thank you, and I savored that.
That was.
What do you get? Something better? You get bread, manna.
A lot of Lutheran churches use actual bread. I am at wafer using churches.
I have leftover communion bread sitting in my office right now. The fresh baked loaf from Sunday. You are welcome to have some.
We should do a taste test.
We can go and we can look at that Jesus the Good Shepherd, and you can have some Eucharistic piety.
This might test my theory though, because I haven't been christened, baptized, confirmed, anything like that, and I would always watch like other people going up and receiving communion, and I was like, what if I just went up? Like,
no one would know.
Would I get like? I was like, what are the consequences? Is there a smiting? Is it just an internal thing? Does it matter that much? yeah, well, and then why am I bothered by not joining in with this? I don't know. Like, all the special people are going and having their apple juice and their cracker, and I'm sitting here like,
We got wine.
There is wine.
Yeah.
I want the people who do the signs at my church to put free wine on Sundays. On the sign. Nobody's bid on doing that yet.
I would be right there.
It's technically true. We don't have to tell them portion sizes.
And portion sizes, I think that's going to be where we leave it today. So, guys, what do you guys have coming up at the end of August going into September, October?
August 23rd, I'm doing a show. Come to Antonio's in Brookline, August 23rd, 7:30 p.m. And then on September 6th, Saturday, Arcade Comedy Theater, Level Up.
Nice.
God bless.
And September 3rd, I have the Britsburg Comedy Show that is at Pitch on Butler, and is going to be featuring me, who is the only and best English comedian in Pittsburgh.
Unless somebody comes across the ocean in the next couple of weeks.
There's no one else.
I like the idea of that comic smackdown right there. And where can we find you guys on social?
Follow me on Instagram at Cassi_Dici, DICCI.
And I'm Harriet Riley Comedy on Instagram.
And we are at CPTB Pod, at CPTB POD. That's a lot of consonants. And we are all out of time, so thanks to all of you out there who are still listening. If we offended you somehow, we're sorry.
Again, we're not sorry at all. You need to take accountability in this situation.
Why? Why do you do this to yourself? But you did it. You done it. You're here. So do us a favor. Subscribe to the podcast. Share it with everybody you think will enjoy it. Family, friends, pastors, anyone.
Share it with random bots. We'll take the listeners.
Absolutely, we will. We are indiscriminate. We will be back in a couple of weeks, next week with a short take.
Until then, may the Holy Spirit do her thing in your life.